Okay, so you've got tickets for Manager Swords and the River Cruise. So you don't have tickets for the London Eye.
No.
Do you want to go on the River Cruise?
Yes, yeah.
See the blue flags there? It's just down there.
Any young children on board, please remain seated as much as possible.
Well, good morning. Try that again. Good morning. Fabulous. My name's Mick and I have the privilege today of being your host on the fabulous Silver Bonito. Can you all hear me okay? Yeah. Can you all understand me? Because I'm a Cockney, see, I'm the real deal. I'm not a Dick Van Dyke. Hello, Mary. I am a Cockney. But if you can't understand me, guys, if English isn't your first language, you do need to perhaps go pop downstairs, see my colleague Abby, who will have free audio guides in your particular language, guys. There's also a bar downstairs. You can get tea, coffee, wine, spirits, etc. down there. Toilets are situated at the back of the vessel. We must ask you guys, especially on the upper deck, to remain seated at all time. Our skipper, give him a round of applause. Young Alan, woo! He does need to see where he's going, guys. Now, if you look to the right-hand side, the starboard side, that is the old Scotland Yard. If you look down between the two red brick buildings down there, there's a tree down there. At the top of that tree there's a branch that sticks out. That is Special Branch. Okay, jokes get a lot worse, I promise you. Now guys, we're coming down under Westminster Bridge. Westminster Bridge is painted green because Westminster Bridge is closest to the chamber of the House of Commons in there, guys. The other side of the bridge, of course, on the right-hand side, the starboard side of the boat. Left is port, right is starboard. To the starboard, the right-hand side of the boat, you can see the Palace of Westminster. Now, 826 lords and ladies, 650 MPs are allowed to sit in that building. It's not an old building. That building's only been there for 150 years. There was a building there prior to that. The first palace, built by a chap called William Rufus, that burnt down in 1834. Charles Baring built the building that you can see over the road over there, over the other side of the Thames over there, to house our current Parliament, consisting, as I said, the House of Lords, 826, 650 MPs. Anybody in Britain can become a lord or a lady. Fancy it? Yes. It's £300 a day. All you've got to do is get to the top of your tree in your chosen profession. It doesn't have to be politics, it can be the law, genetics, sport, engineering, charity, anything you like. Once you've got to the top of your tree, you can be made a lord or a lady, brought to the chamber of the House of Lords. The Lords advises the Commons are elected, the Lords are appointed. So the Lords advises the Commons. Commons usually take notice, but they don't have to. So the Lords are a lot like your mother-in-law. Gives you great advice, but you don't have to take it. Okay guys, if you look to the right hand side, little pair of steps there guys, with a little building above. This is Black Rod steps. Black Rod has the same power as a magistrate who put you in prison, and that little building at the top of the steps is Black Rod's prison. The last person to be incarcerated in there was Emily Davidson, the famous suffragette. Okay guys, now directly in front of us we have Lambeth Bridge. This is painted red because this is the bridge that is closest to the chamber of the House of Lords. But if you look through Lambeth Bridge, the next bridge down, Vauxhall Bridge, this is the building on the left hand side is in fact MI6, James Bond's building.
Well, that? Yeah. Wow.
When they was filming The World Is Not Enough, Pierce Brosnan jumped out of MI6, the third story, drove his speedboat straight into one of the stanchions off the bridge. When they hooked him out the river, they said, "Are you okay?" He said, "Yes, I'm shaken, not stirred." Something's going to get worse. Okay guys, off the left-hand bow over there, the building you can see there, this is St Thomas's Hospital. The nurses in St Thomas's Hospital call themselves Nightingales, as a tribute to Nightingale, who built a famous nursing school in St Thomas's Hospital during the Crimean War. So the nurses, as a tribute, called themselves Nightingales. So looking back off the left-hand side, the port side, the tower that you can see closest to you, this is Victoria Tower, this is the Archive Tower. When the old building burnt down, it destroyed all of the existing floors. So when Charles Barry built that building, he built the Victoria Tower there, completely fireproof. The middle towers, now called St Stephen's, this is the ventilation tower. It lets out all of the hot air that's over there, guys. Lots and lots of hot air over there, yes? Okay, so St Stephen's Tower lets out all of the hot air down there, guys. If you look at the building, you can see a line from shields halfway up the building. These are all the shields of the aristocratic families in England and Wales. And below that, the line that's round, you can probably just make out it's in Latin, and that is the Lord's Prayer. Now, can we see Big Ben? Can we see Big Ben?
Yes.
No, you can't. You can't see Big Ben. Big Ben is the bell that's inside Victoria Elizabeth Tower. Why is it called Big Ben? It was the bell was manufactured by the Whitechapel Bell Founders. It might be after Benjamin Hall, the clerk of works, when we rebuilt the palace over there in 1834, or it might be after Paul Palace House, 650 MPs, and the MP's got an office in there, and inside that office there's a lovely reclining chair. Don't have our MPs being upset or tired once they feel they're the expensive place. If we look to the right hand side guys, the starboard side, as we go under Westminster Bridge, and if we got any West End fans on board, Westminster Bridge, still the manufacturer that make up Westminster Bridge is manufactured by Tom Farnborough, the same business that went on to be West End United. But if we look to the right guys, we can see County Hall, the old County Hall on the site of the old Lion Brewery. At one time that was the biggest brewery in Europe. Now they pulled the brewery down, built County Hall. That's the home to the Lord Mayor of London. Tell Mrs Thatcher. Look down to the London Eye. Yeah, London Eye. The Europe's largest cantilevered observation wheel. It's an observation wheel because the pods are on the outside. 135 metres high, 32 pods. No number 13 because people wouldn't get the number 13. And you know we've had a lot of strange things happen on the Eye. We had over 800 marriage proposals, 13 rejections. What would you talk about? Takes takes half an hour to go round. They're not big beds. You guys are very lucky because just in there, a little bit there, you can see our famous London white cranes nesting over there. Can you see them? But if you look to the left-hand side, the port side, you can see Charing Cross Railway Station, Terry Farrell's Charing Cross Railway Station. The other side of Hungerford Bridge, and it's supposed to represent the steam train. If you can see it, yeah, over there on the left-hand side, Terry Farrell's fantastic Charing Cross Railway Station. We are coming down now to Brunel's Hungerford Bridge, over the late 1800s. We've got a stowaway up here, a little pigeon wants a ride. But the walkways either side of Hungerford Bridge, these are installed to celebrate the Queen's diamond. Now guys, if you want to get through Hungerford Bridge, if you look to the right hand side, this area, the South Bank, 1951 we had the Festival of Britain. Britain was in the doldrums after the Second World War. So we had the Festival of Britain to celebrate British greatness. Now that area is now walked into the South part of the country. The bridge in front of us, guys, is the Waterloo Bridge. You'll ask me why it's called the Ladies' Bridge. Called the Ladies' Bridge because in the Second World War the old Waterloo Bridge was bombed, the men was off fighting, so the ladies rebuilt the bridge. And you know what, girls? They built it on time and on budget. And they built it out of self-cleaning stone.
Nice.
Only a lady, eh? It's also called the Ladies' Bridge because it is the longest bridge over the Thames. And it goes on and on and on. We won't go there. Again, looking to the starboard side, the right side, you can see the rest of the South Bank over there, guys. And we have the National Theatre over there. The tall building you can see there, London Weekend Television, the second largest television manufacturing company after the BBC in Britain. Such comfortable things as Luke Swimming, very brown, really good quality outside. The white building just loaded above the trees here. This is Studio 8. At one time they filmed Good Morning TV in Studio 8 there. But the beach we're going down to, you can see a beach there. We have a sand castle. The European sand castle building competition over there one time. I know it's hard to believe, but we did. The area behind Riviera Beach is Gabriel Fort. Really, really good quality pizzerias. Restaurant. There's a great pub in there as well. So I think it's a gem. But the red brick building just off the starboard bow over there, this is like some so they bought that building, they manufactured Octo cubes in there, they put that tower up. Can you see the tower? What does the tower say? No, it doesn't say Octo, it doesn't say anything. This is a Royal River, you're not allowed to advertise on a Royal River. So Octo put that tower up, they just put those collection of objects in the windows here. They were taking a call and they pleaded, they don't say Octo, they just happened. Completely by chance to see it here. Doggins Coat Bank, the top six called Thomas Doggins. So, an apprentice rowing up the river every night back to Bath, 6.5 miles. He was so impressed with their feats that he instigated the Doggins Coat and Badge race, held every year for the top 6 Waterman apprentices on the Thames. dog gets covered with coat and bags to wear. You get a lump sum of money and you get a little skiff, a little rowing boat to ply your trade. The building behind the pub, one of London's newest buildings, which you turn back called the Vase, I don't know why, but it is. I think I prefer to call it the pub. Don't you think? Yeah? It's like a pregnant lady. What do you think? Under Blackfriars Railway Bridge here, guys, the stanchions on the side that we are at the moment. These are freshwater birds. The stanchions on the opposite side are seawater birds. This is because the Victorians thought that the river changed from a salt water to a freshwater just about here. It doesn't. It's up at Teddington, but the Victorians thought that it was right here. Now, what are these big red stanchions in the middle of the river? Are they London Stonehenge? Are they gigantic bird feeders? Well, I'm not going to tell you. I'll tell you on the way back. But I told you about the Ladies Bridge, Waterloo Bridge. We're now going under Blackfriars Railway Bridge. And this is the men's bridge, because this bridge was 5 years late and £20 million over budget. So this is the men's bridge. And if we look on the right hand side, you can see Charles Gilbert Scott's Bankside Power Station. Charles Gilbert Scott built 2 power stations on the Thames, Battersea and Bankside. He also designed the famous red telephone boxes that we use today. The Bankside Power Station on the right hand side, this looks an awful lot better when you come out. The bridge in front of you, Norman Foster's Wiggly Bridge, built to the Millennium Bridge, built to commemorate the Millennium 2000, when it opened this built his Globe Theatre about 50 metres inland from there. Looking for a monument that must be here, a place to have a playwright. Couldn't find anything, so he decided to build a reconstruction of Shakespeare's Globe Theatre. It's the only building in London with a thatched roof. Thatched with banned since the Great Fire of London, 1666. There for £5 standing in the pit. Just recently, it's a bridge over the Thames with the least amount of footfall, the least amount of vehicle traffic. But it is still lit with gas light. So those lamps up there are still lit by gas. And it did feature in Mary Poppins' London Bridge. But it goes right into the heart of London, the old Guildhall. So it has got the least amount of footfall up there, guys. But as we go through the bridge, under the bridge, if you look to the right, this is the home to the Financial Times, the FT building. And just past the FT, you can see a red building there, the Anchor Pub. Now, parts of that pub go back to 1620. Shakespeare didn't drink in there, possibly in a pub that used to stand on that side. But certainly, Dr. Johnson, Ben Jonson, Samuel Pepys and Charles Dickens did drink in that pub. There's part of Peter Finch's diary where he documents sitting outside that pub watching the Great Fire of London ravage the city on the opposite bank over there, complaining about extraordinary here. Okay guys, now we're going underneath Cannon Street Railway Bridge. Now as we come out the other side of the railway bridge, do not look to your left hand side. Do not look to your left hand side, guys. You're not looking, are you?
Yes.
Don't look. Don't look. Good. Tell you about that later. Look to the right, guys. We can see a pirate ship. Arr! What's the pirates making better? Arr! 1577. Francis Drake sailed around the world. Left with 84 men. Come back to 42. But he did come back with Trent's London Bridge. I know it doesn't look much, but this is the latest incarnation, and we'll talk more about London Bridge on the way back, guys. But if you look to the right, you can see the big tall building there, Enzo Piano Shard. It is the tallest building in Western Europe, 72 stories. There was going to be 73, but that's another story. But if we look to the right, guys, we can see London Bridge Hospital. This is the Victorian Maternity Hospital. Michael Caine was born in there. The buildings next door, Horniman and Hayes Galleria. This is 90% of the tea that was landed in Britain during the Victorian era. It was landed in Horniman and Hayes Galleria over there. Now it houses some very, very boutiques, restaurants. It's a great pub in there as well. You get a great view of the river over there, guys. The ship that we're going down to, the warship, this is HMS Belfast, which is in 1936. Very famous ship, now part of the Imperial War Museum. It's featured in the Arctic convoys, the Russian convoys, so we'll have a little Titanic moment. So remain seated, guys, please do. We're coming down to the world's most photographed bridge, Tower Bridge. Sorry, St. This is a Baskerville Bridge, it means it parts in the middle of open up. It's an iron bridge. The Baskervilles do wait down into the peak, it only takes 60 seconds. That on the outside was put there to be sympathetic with the fabulous town. Kind of pattern on the outside, again, Portland stone. If we look to the right, of the Mayor of London. Nicknamed that the Armadillo. Funny shaped building. But guys, now, as we go under Tower Bridge, the world's most famous, and there is a tradition that says that as you go underneath, wave at the people on the bridge, and they give you a wave back, you will have 5 years good luck. Because Victorian sailors, when they went off on their voyages, the last opportunity their loved ones would have to wave them goodbye would be from Tower Bridge. If they got a wave back, then probably their loved ones would wait for about 5 years good luck, guys. But also there is a tradition on the Thames that if you're on the boat with your loved one, if you give your loved one a little peck as we go underneath Tower Bridge, you will have a lifetime of health and happiness. So guys, you're away! Woo! Are we getting a wave back? Come on guys! Wave faster! Yeah! There you go, you got a wave, guys, absolutely. Guys, just a little peck, just a peck. Naughtiness going on up here on the upper deck. Okay guys, now in London we have listed buildings, grade 1, grade 2 listed buildings. What that means is, if a building is listed, you cannot pull it down. You can renovate it, but you can't pull it down and build a skyscraper. So, the Butler's Wharf on the right hand side, this is grade 2 listed old wharfs. Tea, coffee, spices all come into these wharfs. You can't pull them down and build a tower block there, so what they've done, they've sympathetically develop them on the inside. A 1-bedroom flat in there. He also owns Fulham Football Club, so if we've got any Fulham fans, that's Mr. Carl's yacht, isn't it, over there? You can hire that yacht for £1.2 million a week. But if you look to your left, guys, look to the port side, that is the best view of London you will ever have. Tower Bridge there on the left hand side. Look at that, fantastic. with the cityscape in the background, the Shard to the left there. Tower Bridge was opened in 1896 by the then Prince of Wales, later to become George V, Queen Victoria's son. So it is a Victorian bridge. At one time that bridge was painted brown because Queen Victoria had a thing about chocolate. She loved chocolate. So her favourite colour was brown. So they painted the bridge brown in as a little tribute to Queen Victoria. It's been red, white and blue since the Queen's Silver Jubilee celebrations in 1966. And the walkways above, you can see, were put there because they thought the Victorians wouldn't wait for the bicycles to rise. At one time they used to rise up to 40 times a day. Now you're lucky if you get a rise once a day. The walkway above, if you look up guys, you can see it's got a see-through floor. Not so great if you're a lady with a skirt. Great, because we can check if Scotsmen are really Scotsmen. If you look to the right guys, the fabulous Tower of London. 1066, William the Conqueror invaded Britain. What he used to do was sack all the surrounding area to impose his will on the people of the area. But the City of London makes money, so he left the City of London alone, but he did build the White Tower there in 1078, just to impose his will on the people of London. So they paid him taxes. If you look to the right guys, you can see the world's first ever one-way street, Traitor's Gate there. You went in, you didn't come out. Only 7 people have ever been executed inside the Tower of London. You'd have to be royal. 117 executed on Tower Hill outside. But what a great view you've got of the City of London over there. You can see the gherkin, the scalpel, the cheese grater, and the walkie-talkie there. Now the walkie-talkie destroys cars. Sun rises in the east, sets in the west, goes right across the top of that building. So the sun used to bounce off of the windows, bounce down the street and destroy cars in the street. And a particular dislike for Aston Martin. They've now had to coat the windows with a particular coating so it doesn't bounce down. The building behind the trees there, this is Customs House, 16, 17, 1800s. Searchers will board the vessels coming up from Gravesend, determine how much duties payable to the Crown. And skippers would go over and pay their duty in Customs House over there. The building next door, Billy Street Fish Market. That's where all of the fish caught on the Thames used to be auctioned off. When Queen Victoria visited, she said the fish is good, the language is foul. Now, if you look between the two white buildings we're coming down to, there's a big tall shaft in there with a golden dome on top. This is the monument, 62 metres high. This is Sir Christopher Wren's monument to the Great Fire of London. We had the Great Fire of London, 1666. So Sir Christopher Wren as a monument built the monument. He also put inside, tell you yes, had 150 wooden properties built on the bridge. He had a monument to Thomas the Becket. It also had the world's first ever public toilets on it, which was sponsored by Dick Whittington, the real Dick Whittington. He was Lord Mayor of London 6 times, and he sponsored the world's first ever public toilets. Now, as we go under Cannon Street Railway Bridge, do not look to the right. Do not look to the right. That building down there, that's a sauna. And they put the windows in the wrong way round. So we can see in, they can't see out. Don't look, you might see naked people.
That's hilarious.
Now, only 17,000 people live in the City of London. 350,000 people come to work in the city every day, and all of their waste is gathered together and put into containers and taken down to Gravesend to a landfill down there. London's made up of 2 cities, City of London, City of Westminster, and the metropolitan area, the whole area. City of London, the old Roman city, built when the Romans invaded AD 44. They established Londinium, they built a wall around the city with gates in, Bishopsgate, Aldgate, places like that. So the City of London eventually morphed into the City of Westminster. We'll talk about that a little bit further on. But the inlet you can see on the right hand side, this is Queen Hyde. This is an original Roman dock. The Romans built that dock. Going down under Foster's Wiggly Bridge again, and if you look to the right, guys, you get a great view of St Paul's Cathedral. So Christopher Wren built St Paul's Cathedral. It's the 5th St Paul's Cathedral. The 4th one was the tallest building in the world at one time. But he built that 365 feet high, 1 foot for every day of the year. It's got the 2nd largest dome in Europe after St Peter's in Rome. Lots of things have happened in there. Charles married Diana, Sir Christopher Wren's buried in there, Edward Lloyd Nelson's buried in there. Margaret Thatcher had a funeral in there. Oh, we don't want to talk about that. Right next to you guys, you can see Hogwarts. City of London School. Why is it Hogwarts? Daniel Radcliffe went to school in there. Harry Potter. But if you look to the right, guys, you can see a spire sticking up just a little bit inland. This is St Bride's. This is the inspiration for all of our wedding cakes that we have at the moment. Late 1700s, a baker was instructed to make a wedding cake. He looked at the spire of St Bride's over there, you can see it about now, and he thought, you know what, I'll make a wedding cake to look exactly like that. And that's how we get the inspiration for our wedding cakes that we have at the moment. So going under Blackfriars Bridge again, what are these spears? Spires sticking up. Well, they house the Hogwarts Express that goes over the top. No, they don't. Of course they don't. It's the old London Dover Chatham Railway. It's over there. The stations are so well embedded in the foot of the river that they couldn't get them out. They'd have to use dynamite. So they left them there. Now the river is a very clean river. I know it doesn't look like it. This is just all the mud being churned up to the bottom of the river. But it is the cleanest metropolitan river in the world, actually. Wow. Wasn't always the case. 1858 we had the big stink. Do we know any big stinks? Yes, if you saw us down either side of the Thames, this had the effect of constricting the Thames, made the Thames flow a lot faster. But it did, all the sewage went into the Thames. Those sewers are now completely chock-a-block. So, we're now building a super sewer, which is what the construction work is on the Thames. 30 metres below the bed of the Thames, we're building a super sewer. Now, I mentioned we're at London, the City of London, the old Roman City of London, morphs into the City of Westminster. It happens right here on the right-hand side. Those two dragon-like creatures, they're griffins. They are the emblem of the City of London. So right there, where the City of London morphs into the City of Westminster. The wind comes from the west in Britain. So the rich people would live in the west to get the fresh air. The wind would go over the city, pick up all the smells, and the poor people would live in the east. The ship beside us, HMS Wellington, the Q ship, spy ship, went out during the Second World War, looking like an unarmed merchantman. Submarines would spy it through their periscope, decide they wanted to save a torpedo, surface, try and kill it with their gun. When there's a great restaurant in there, there's some art gallery, and very shortly we'll have a massive ice rink to celebrate Christmas in there. Now, as I said, the Thames is a very dangerous place. The Thames flows at 6 knots, you can't swim at 6 knots. It rises and falls about 21, 22 foot. So we have 4 lifeboat stations on the Thames to protect everybody that travels on the Thames. The one you can see on the right hand side tower, this has the maximum number of call-outs at any lifeboat station anywhere in Britain. The average is 200 call-outs a year. That one, Thames, has 400. So the big clock you can see on the right hand side, this is Benzine. That at one time was home to the Shell Mex Oil Company. Biggest clock face in celebrate Admiral Lord Nelson's defeat of Napoleon at the Battle of the Nile. And the Sphinxes are the wrong way in, wrong way round, because Sphinxes are there to protect the obelisk, not to have a chat with it. Again, you get a great view of Terry Farrell's Charing Cross Railway Station, guys. And this is the last opportunity you get to wave at people on bridges, so do it, because they can't look at that, they can't help themselves, guys. They will wave back at you. Fabulous. Okay, now just the other side of the bridge. There's a building there, looks like a Fairyland building. This is Whitehall Place, on the site of the old Whitehall Palace. But that used to be home to the Liberal Party. It's now the Horse Guards Hotel in there. You get a great cream tea in there. But the ship bit going down beside, HMS Tattershall, started its life as a ferry in Grimsby. Come to London as an art gallery, wasn't successful. So it's now a pub club. It takes more money on a Friday night than it did for a whole year as an art gallery. Just goes to show what sort of artists we are in London.
What looks a good beer?
The building behind is the MOD, Ministry of Defence. And inside County Hall there, the old County Hall now houses Bird Entertainment. You can upgrade your tickets.